Hey folks, it's Jason here with another RimWorld video. A while back I created a video showing how to use caravans, such as placing a caravan gathering point, how to load them up, how to load your pack animals, etc., etc. One of the comments and questions that I received from multiple people was what to do if you can't get enough food together for your caravan to make a longer trip. If you're next to a road tile, for instance, it's quite it doesn't take very long to move down one of these tiles. So when you're moving through here, your time is very reduced. We can look at this with the waypoint calculator. Set a couple of waypoints. You go down the road, that's 2.5 days. So if you kind of take the same distance outside, it's almost 5 days. So not all colonies are, of course, going to be next to a road. And not all the colonies you're going to want to travel to, or all the places you're going to want to travel to, are going to be next to a road. So what do you do in that situation? There's not a lot you can do. At current, you can't create overworld roads to make a caravan move quicker or anything like that. And there's no other real option other than what we're going to talk about today, which is transport pods. So transport pods are a one-way transportation. When you fire a pod off, that pod is destroyed when it lands, and that's basically the end of it. Of course, the launcher is still intact. So first of all, what do we need to do to make a transport pod? You have to research the transport pod tree, which allows you to create the launcher and the pod itself. From that point, you only need one other thing, which is refining. Refining allows you to go under production and create a chem fuel refinery, which requires power. Chem fuel refinery, and I have it set here, I want to keep my levels at around 300 chem fuel, which right now we have 305. It makes about 35 for every 70 wood put into it. Now the launchers themselves have a way for you to look and see how far they'll launch. At the default of 75 fuel, they can launch 33 tiles. If you want to go less, you really don't need to put that much fuel in there. You know, you don't actually need to mess with it that much. For instance, if I don't want to go that far, I can drop the levels on here, and it just won't use as much fuel. Second, and probably one of the most important things to consider, as it is laid out right now, I can multi-select these pods. The only problem being that these two don't have fuel, so they won't really count in my grouping. But and you can do the shift click thing. See, it says load launch group of 2. The only way you can group pods together is if the transport pod launcher is laid out like dominoes style or what have you, just end to end like this. And the reason for that being that when you make one, and we'll just kind of lay one out real quick, I believe it'll show what I'm talking about. See that little rocket down there in the bottom right hand corner? Like it will show up when we build it. That shows where the pod has to be built. It's kind of like and you see there's little gears and stuff down there on it. It's like, or little hoses. That's where it has to be to fuel the pod for launch. And these guys have to be touching in order to group it. And you say, well, why can't I, could I put it like this or whatever? From what it's touchy. So this is really the only way to make this work properly, as far as I know, to launch multiple groups is to lay them out like this, or maybe laying end to end. You can't screw around with it. So once they're laid out like this, however, you can group them, and these guys have fuel, so we could say load launch group of 2. And if we want to, we could load a couple of guys up on here and say, oh, okay, let's take all this crap, and we can have up to 300 kilograms. We hit accept. They'll load all the stuff, and we're ready to launch. Now, in order to give a demonstration of the couple of things you can do with this, I'm going to do something that no RimWorld player in their right mind would do, which is I'm going to use this pod to load up our sergeant here, who is going to get launched straight into an enemy camp, screaming and flailing and ready to murder everyone. And since we know he's not going to survive, so let's not worry about meals on him. And anyway, if he's tough enough to survive, I think he could probably just eat raw meat all the way back. We give him 5.7 days worth of food. So Trigger's going to load this one up. Now, at the same time, we're going to show how it works if you're not doing some sort of crazy attack. Let's send our crazy subversive math professor, that crazy jerk. And we're going to give him some food, but we're going to send him with a whole bunch of potatoes and weed. He wants to sell weed so bad. He's like, I want to subvert the youth. So, we pack all this jazz up, and we put it on the pod. So now we have two guys assigned to different transport pods, and they're going to go crazy loading stuff up. And that kind of works like the caravan does. So Louie's going to say, all right, let's get all this weed in here. I want so much weed in here, I can't even fit in here myself. So much weed. And then our buddy Trigger is just like cramming raw meat into his capsule. He's probably sitting on some of it, rubbing it, using it as a blanket. Go and get them potatoes, Louie. Alright, so Trigger's ready to go. There's no joke now. Trigger is ready to go. So let's let him go. We hit launch on our launch pod, and now we have a few places we could attack. Here's our range. Like I said, we have our 33, so we can effectively get way out here if we fill it all the way up, right? So what do we want to do? We want to come up here and attack these jerks. Now we have the option of dropping at the edge or dropping in the center. Trigger's not a drop at the edge kind of guy, so he's going to go, oh yeah. Now, at the same time, we're going to set up our launch group. Smoke Leaves is missing. What? Well, where's Louie? Sometimes they didn't finish it all, or there's like one or two missing, or maybe some got rolled into a joint or something. So anyway, we'll just say confirm. We don't really care that much. Now, let's go down here and trade with our buddies at wherever this is. Alright, now when we choose this option, we have drop edge, drop center. We don't really want to attack them. We don't want to do anything. We don't want to have to worry about inventory management. So, luckily enough, we can choose just to visit. So, launch them up, boys. Oh, right off the map. Now, if we switch up to the world map, we can watch a little bit of our progress. Here they go. Here they go. Okay. So, over here, we have the option to trade. Let's go ahead and do that. That's nice because we can go, hey guys, why don't you come over to my van and see what I got? Oh Lord, look at all this sweet ganja. You sell all that sweet ganja, we get us some silver. Now if you see, of course, your dude has a certain amount of weight he can carry. All that silver and the food we have left, we have 3.3 days worth of food, perfectly fine. So we hit accept. Now, from here, if we choose them, we can now say, enter Thieves Mesa. And that gives us, we have a time to destination of 3.2 days. It says we have more food than it did on the other screen. Who cares? So it's fine. We only, we have 5.4 days of food, so we're plenty of time to get back. Now, of course, let's see what happens over here. Bam! Generating map for new encounter. Of course, if you haven't done much of this, the way it works is you have to, once the map's been generated, you have to click on where you want to go, and then you choose zoom in, and that picks, the area. I don't think he's going to make it through this one. But that's not a can-do spirit. Let's see what happens. Oh, Matthew just took it. Oh, God. Get him, Trig. Come on, Trig. Okay. He didn't make it. Not the way he was shivering and shaking on the pavement. So, I guess Trigger was a loss. However, that is how transport pods work. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider subscribing. If you liked this and would like more videos like it, or my Let's Plays or other videos I do, you can follow me on Twitter at McMaster, and on Twitch I live stream under JV McMaster and also on this channel. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Love you guys. And, just be good to each other and be safe out there. We'll see you soon.